Mental health matters. Through Food for Thought, we aim to create awareness and empower individuals to take charge of their mental well-being. Join us as we delve into the complexities of mental health and navigate the path towards healing and resilience. Food for Thought with Professor David Ndete.
Welcome to another episode of Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. On this episode, we are picking up from where we left off last week. We are doing a series talking about understanding stress and stress management. Today, we want to zero in on some of the causes and the triggers of stress. I want to introduce you to a gentleman. He's known as Eden Davis. Eden Davis shared with us his experience of the things in his life that triggered him to undergo stress. Listen to what he had to say.
My name is Eden Davis Ochieng. Growing up, I was a bit hopeful that life will be fair. Like any other person, you're full of, those positive stuff growing up. Then I think for me it was more of a kind of disappointment. Because like any other Kenyan, I came to Nairobi when joining campus in the first place. And throughout campus life, after school, I ended up in unemployment, which was fair, actually, in the first place. So it didn't meet my expectation, actually. And but I took up with good spirit. I think then that was 2013. I think after a few months I realized it's not something that my heart was for. But then I didn't have an opportunity, and like any other Kenyan, I tried so many things, so many applications. And like for a whole year, I applied for so many jobs. I didn't get even a response, not even an acknowledgement that they have received an application. But I thank God then, because I had something to do. It was not sustainable. So I made my mind quickly that I needed to shift from that career line to something different. So I consolidated some money and I started off again. I went back to school, financing myself. Things got tough when I was at the tail end, because then I didn't have money and I had to take a few loans because I needed to finish though. So when I was about to finish, I needed to do some internship program within the place I was working, because there was an arrangement that you could move from one department to another department to do something. So it was working for most people, but unfortunately for me, it became difficult with my boss. So then, because I really needed to do this internship to facilitate, at least to get some skills with the new career that I've taken, it became difficult. So I found it a bit tricky, because then here I've just finished school, I need to do an internship. Of course, it was part of the process before I graduate. This is a job, it's not sustainable, but at least I'm getting something from it. But then it's not possible to do it here. So I took a risk. I decided to quit. Quitting, I knew it's a very risky step, because then I didn't have any support, but I had to take it. So I decided to quit. Thank God something came up from my place I was doing an internship. So there was a small project that was running, and from my experience as an intern, I was recalled for that short project. So I think I did something, and I consolidated a few coins, and when that project was over, I had this thought, okay, now again, you don't have a job and you need to sustain yourself. By then I had a child, okay, and you need to provide, you need to be there, for your family, So I decided to reinvest that money. So after I had invested that money, unfortunately, things didn't go right. As we had expected, because we were a group of 3 guys. So we came up together and started to see if we can venture into business. So unfortunately, I placed all my eggs in one basket. I didn't have a rollback plan. Okay, so That is the few coins I had consolidated. So we put it up together. They invested in a business. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Yeah. So this is something that maybe had it not been for the investment, it could have sustained me for a few months. So again, I was in this situation. I've tried business, it's not working. The job is not there. The manual jobs are not sustainable, you know. So it became a bit worse. So I thank God for the friends that I have had around, especially within my new space.
And that is what we want to talk about. Professor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
Before we talk about the causes and the triggers, I want you to remind us, because I think one of the things you said on the previous episodes was very important when you told us about the graph.
Yes.
Can you explain that graph again, and then we can talk about the causes?
Yes, the graph that I made went something like this, then reached a plateau for some time, and then started going down. When it is going up like this, it means that as you put more pressure, you are under more stress to achieve certain things. The more pressure you have, the better the results.
Yeah.
Very normal. That is where we want to be, all of us. But then it may reach a stage where you reach a plateau when increased pressure does not lead to increase output.
Yes.
But then you can reach a stage which we call toxic stress, so that where any increase in pressure for you to achieve, it actually causes you to go down in terms of symptoms. Yes.
So that is where I want us to look at today. Look at some of the causes and the effects.
Yes. If you want me to respond to that, it is. It's very difficult. There are so many of us.
So many.
We all have different life experiences, whether financial, family, work, examination, whatever it is. So it involves nearly all aspects of life, and we all react differently to the different to the same kind of stress, differently to the same amount of stress. And I'll give you an example. Say when we were dealing with the American embassy and bomb blast or Tanguli or other people, or even the example I gave the other day, bringing people together to discuss a certain problem as a group. You realize that people may be subjected to the same stress, and they react differently. Very, very differently. And that kind of approach, like the one you are taking, involving the community, is very good for two, in my view, two very good reasons. Number one, people, when they start talking, you realize that you are not the only person in this world with stress.
Exactly.
Other people, if they are willing to open up.
To open up, yes.
Yeah, and the challenge is to get them to open up in a trusting group relationship. Or even the way you are doing it, people are opening up. And they know I am not the only person who is going through this. The other very important and extremely therapeutic is that you say you and I are having the same amount of stress. We are subject to the same stress.
Same pressure,
And then I tell you what is happening to me. And of course, assuming I'm honest with you, I tell you this is happening to me, and this is the way I'm responding, and then you look at me and they say, come on, I don't understand why this is happening to you. I have been going through it myself, and this is the way I am
coping with it and dealing with it.
So we learn from each other. So getting people to talk about stress in groups, and the more we have about this, the better for all of us. So that we realize that we are not unique, in the sense that we cannot have stress. Everybody has some kind of. Yeah. And number two, whatever seems to be a big problem for us is not really a big problem, because other people have been able to deal with it. And then this person, you, who has been able to deal with what I'm not able to deal, what I'm not able to deal with, and ask you, and what about you? How are you dealing? What are your stresses? And then you tell me. First, you say, it's not a problem. This is the way I've done it. Yeah. And then you tell me yours. I tell you. Pasi, this is not a problem. I have the same problem. This is the way I have dealt with it. So very important. So if you are to categorize the causes of stress, it's impossible, because that would be categorizing things that happen in life. But general would be you as an individual, as issues in the family, and we cannot exhaust those. If you are working issues at workplace, very, very, very important. In fact, the people who diagnose stress in bosses are the workers.
Professor, is it possible for somebody to really be undergoing stress and yet they themselves don't recognize it,
Absolutely.
But other people can see it?
Absolutely, of course. That is why in taking history, say you are taking the history from me, you can take the history from me, you can ask me whatever questions that you're asking me, I'll answer the best, to the best of my ability. But we have also realized patients will tell you what they want you
to hear.
Yeah, and if you just believe what they are telling you, then you miss a lot. That's why we have to bring other people. The family members, very important.
Yes.
What is really happening, and then they will tell you. They give you information that is so important and so crucial in the way you are going to manage the patient who is presenting to you.
Okay.
So it is the context in which it occurs.
Professor, as we finish, is it important for each individual to know the kind of situations or things that trigger their stress level?
Absolutely. Pastor, you are very involved in all these matters. It's very, very, very important because you want to know the trigger. Yeah. That's very important. Work situation, family situation, whatever it is, or even ongoing mental illness, and address those triggers. And things start falling into place. Of course, there will be situations like, I'm talking like a psychiatrist.
Yes.
There will be a situation like, I'll give you an example. Somebody, and it must always be in their best interest. Somebody who is having a demanding problem, the brain is going down, is thinking, is reasoning, is everything is going down. And therefore, if he continues doing what he's doing, he's likely to cause harm to himself.
Yes.
So in that case, you can say, please don't continue this way, because of the nature of your illness, whatever is happening in the, and you know, psychiatrists and in neurology, we work on the brain.
Yes.
That is our, and we know that they are so much, they are so much related. So there are times when you say you need to slow down because of this and that, or you need to slow down because your blood pressure or diabetes is not under control. Yes. So there are those special cases. But where we are dealing with a person whose brain, it is non-damage to the brain, then you need to be very careful how you respond to some of the things that they want to do. Okay. And by the way, a person who is suffering from, say, a psychiatric problem, or is having plateaued or toxic stress, the other one will come and say, I want to retire. please give me a letter. The guys who are having who have a brain damage, say because of stroke or so on, you never make that request.
No.
Yeah, you never. You say, I'm okay.
I still want to continue.
I still want to continue because he does not know that he has problem in kind of reasoning. He does not know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor, my time is up, and next week what I want us to do is talk about some of the signs, some of the symptoms that you can look at and see stress issues.
Sawa.
My time is up for Food for Thought with Professor Ndetei for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope the conversations we are having are helpful to you. In case you didn't watch the first episode in this series, check out the Family Media YouTube channel or go on to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the Family Media app. You'll be able to find all the episodes of Food for Thought with Professor Ndetei right there. Until the next episode, do have a good day and God bless you.
Food for Thought with Professor David Ndetei.